People might suggest that this is simply a clash of two comedians. I kid you not. It's really kicked off all simply because of the fact we've currently got, well, a race to become the next British Prime Minister by the 4th, 5th of July. And this is a period, I'm sure it's like this in your part of the world, where TV channels now decide, of course, to get all the big stalwarts put together, you know, the experts and the critiques and all this sort of stuff. It's normally the same old people that they drag out time and time again. But what's more interesting is, if you've had a former British Prime Minister available to come on your channel, then that might add a little bit of spice. In fact, if it's this man, that's right, the Right Honourable Boris Johnson, the former British Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, well, you know at least there's going to be some fun involved. But now there's a comedian stepped forward and said, well, this, as ever, let me explain. Hi, good to see you. Are you voting? Are you? I know it's so hard now, isn't it? Well, you've got postal votes, then you've got to scan your face, haven't you, when you go in. In the old days, you went to the booth, put a cross, and that was the end of that. Now everything is intricate, isn't it? And of course, you can't talk about politics or else everybody's offended. I don't think about anything, but personally, I think you should just vote for me. Well, you have. You're watching this. It's the only way. At least you get some sensibility. Well, sort of. Well, all right, there's no need to be rude, as you can imagine. I'm trying my best here, you know, battling through. But on a serious note, it is a big game, you know. I've often worked in television studios during election periods and, you know, I've met them all, trust me, every single major player you can possibly imagine, from Barack Obama to Trump, over here to, you know, former British Prime Ministers like Theresa May, David Cameron, you name it. And the thing about it is, let me tell you, they all love being on television. And this man truly is no different, but at least he's comical. We're talking about Boris Johnson. Now, Boris was signed up over here for a sort of fledgling, you know, news channel. And they thought they'd got this big deal with him. Sadly now, Boris has decided he's way too busy to appear on their election special because he's busy finishing off a couple of books. Make of that what you will. He was supposed to appear 6 months ago, so there's obviously been, shall we say, a rearrangement of funds, I think would be the best way to put it. However, according to a very well-placed source, there's this man as well that's apparently very offended the fact that they decided to sign him up. That's right, John Cleese of Fawlty Towers fame. He apparently thinks that Boris Johnson's a serial liar and he didn't necessarily want to work for the same channel. Well, that could be rectified because John, you see, decided to make a series of shows called the Dinosaur Hour for the channel, and they were going to be quite liberal, chatty, all that sort of stuff, and it was very pleasant, if you like, you know. Very expensive though for the channel to make, and sadly for John, and it's hard to point this out, they weren't exactly ratings busting hits, you know what I mean? And there lies your problem. It doesn't matter who you get on, whether you get Caitlyn Jenner, Stephen Fry, if people don't want to watch it, they stay away in their droves. And the other problem is, can you sell this particular channel or this particular show around the world? But apparently this got back to the ears of Boris Johnson. He wasn't too pleased, and of course, shall we say, fractions between the both have meant that now this particular English news channel have lost out on the opportunity to have at least somebody I felt might have brought a little bit of spice to the political arena. But sadly now for Boris, it looks like he's burying his head, carrying on, finishing off his books and no doubt raking in millions around the world by being a very much wanted public speaker. Even though over here in the Conservative Party, they simply pushed him out, if that's what you're led to believe. Neil Sean, Kensington, London.